what happened. Round 2 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Spain at Into Xanadu Arroyo Molinos. MX2 race 1, and it was the first foxhole shot of the weekend for Simon Langenfelder, and the first of the season for the Red Bull Gas rider. Closely behind him was Thibaut Beneston and the championship leader, number 74, Kai de Wolf. But he got nudged aside by the Frenchman and was demoted back to a 5th place. He quickly started to make inroads, but to the left, Lucas Koenen lucky to stay up, but he collected Quentin Prunier on the way through. Prunier would eventually come home in 17th place. De Wolf got up into 2nd, as Koenen got himself up into 4th at the expense of the 44 of Rick Elzinga. And then Adamo also went through on the Dutchman as he moved into 6th place. Koenen then eased by the Frenchman Thibaut Beneston to take over 3rd place, as Mikkel Harp got the better of Andrea Adamo to move into 6th. He would eventually come home in 5th after finding his way past the Frenchman Thibaut Beneston. Another good showing for the Triumph boys. With about half distance gone, Kai de Wolf squeezed Langenfelder to the outside to ensure that he couldn't make the triple, and de Wolf took over the lead from Langenfelder. Koenen then made the mistake as he tried to close in on the German. Thibaut Beneston fell from 7, did not lose any positions. He picked himself up and retained that position just behind Adamo. But it was a 7th career victory in the first race for Kai de Wolf from Langenfelder, Koenen, Liam Everts and Harp. MX2 race 2, this time it was Sascha Koenen, fastest over the foxhole shot line for his 2nd reward of the season. Behind him, the number 80 of Andrea Adamo, who tried to squeeze the championship leader to the outside. Lucas Koenen did go the wrong side, and so too did Harp, as they lost positions on that first downhill. It was a KTM 1-2-3 briefly, until Beneston got the better of Everts down the back straight in front of the main grandstand. But it was Sascha Koenen who led from Adamo. That was Beneston going through into the lead. He then moved into 2nd place before the end of the lap, but that was short-lived because closing in fast was the 74 of Kai de Wolf. He moved into 3rd with that move on Adamo. He then launched past Beneston into 2nd and then set his sights on Sascha Koenen. And on the 2nd lap, the number 74 drifted around the outside to take over the lead. Reigning champion Adamo then moved past Beneston as he looked to try and break the top 3 and maybe even get a race win. And he did move into 2nd place with this pass on his teammate Sascha Koenen. Simon Langenfelder, after a poor start, found his way into 3rd place with that move on Beneston. And then it was championship leader versus reigning champion Adamo up the inside of the red plate holder to take over the lead on lap 7 of 18. And Lucas Koenen found his way into 4th place, just around the halfway mark. Then 1 or 2 mistakes started to creep in to de Wolf's game, but it was Adamo who went on to win. De Wolf hung on to 2nd from Langenfelder, Lucas Koenen and Thibaut Beneston. And it was back-to-back Grand Prix victories for Kai de Wolf for the first time in his career, with a 1st and a 2nd. Langenfelder with a 2-3, Adamo with a 6-1, picking up his 1st podium of the 2024 campaign. De Wolf extends his lead now to 12 over Langenfelder. Adamo 19 points further back, with Lucas Koenen and Beneston rounding out the top 5. But the red plate arrived on the front of the Nissan Husqvarna of Kai de Wolf, and it will go to Rio Losado, still on the front of that motorcycle of de Wolf.
The pace was really high in the beginning, and I couldn't really follow the pace, so yeah, I had to let Andrea by, and he was on a really good pace. Then in the last few laps I wanted to push and wanted to catch him, but I was making way too many mistakes. And yeah, the track was not allowing me to be so fast, and yeah, I was struggling. So was a tough 2nd moto, but made it happen, and can't thank the team enough. They're working so hard for me to achieve this, and it's a pleasure to give this back to them.
In the first MXGP race, it was Jorge Prado with his 2nd foxhole shot of the season, in his 132nd career foxhole shot, believe it or not, since 2016. Isaac Gifting got stood up in the middle of the corner there, but it was Prado who led from Maxime Renault, Valentin Guillot, Calvin Valandren, Jeffrey Hurlings, and a couple of positions further back, Roman Fevre in there with Paul Jonas as well, and Benoit Paturel. And from our wide shot, Paturel just ran Fevre a little bit wide, costing him another position or two. But it was Prado who led in the early stages, as Valentin Guillot got himself up into third with that pass on the 10 of Valandren. He then made a mistake, collected Valandren on the way through. That allowed Hurlings to go through as well, and Geiser was just lurking in the background. Geiser then got the better of Valentin Guillot to move into third. Then he went after Hurlings. Found his way past Hurlings. And then the next rider on his list was the 959 of Maxime Renault, and he made this pass to move into second place on lap 6. By then, though, Jorge Prado was too far gone. Jeffrey Hurlings eventually wound himself into contention. With that move on, Maxime Renault moved into third place. And then, after that poor start and that little tussle with Benoit Paturel, Roman Fevre started to charge through. That move on Renault got him into fourth place. The last few laps saw an intense battle between Geiser and Hurlings, the two five-time world champions, but it was Geiser who managed to win out that little battle. Meanwhile, at the head of the field and taking his 79th career race victory, Jorge Prado did not disappoint, winning race 1 from Geiser and Hurlings. MXGP Race 2, all eyes on Jorge Prado, and this time he was decisive as always. His third foxhole shot of the season, as Geiser tried to go with him around the outside. Well, by the time we got to turn 2, the top 3 in the championship were first, second, third in the race, as Prado led Geiser and Fevre, and at the end of the straight, Hurlings nipped into fourth up the inside of Calvin Valandren. Paul Jonas looked to make an attack, but it did not ring true. With Prado disappearing, Geiser was comfortable in second, Fevre comfortable in third. Valandren was in fifth place, ahead of Glenn Koldenoff on the Fantic, but then he lost traction coming out of the final turn. He picked himself up, but I think with the assistance of a marshal, because by the end of the race, it was deemed that he'd received outside assistance and was therefore disqualified from the 20th place, and that 1 point that he did pick up. A perfect day, a perfect weekend for Jorge Prado, though, on the Red Bull Gas. Fastest in all the sessions, free practice, time practice, the winner in the ramp qualifying race, and back-to-back wins, a double race victory for the second time in his career on home soil, his third ever in the Premier class. Jorge Prado with his 80th race victory, and confirming himself on the top step of the podium here at home. 2 wins out of 2, Prado victorious in Spain, edging out Geiser and Fevre. Hurlings the same points, missing out of the podium, 4th overall. And Jorge Prado now 10 points clear at the top of the standings. Geiser moves ahead of Fevre, who's now 12 adrift. Hurlings and Jonas ran out the top 5. But what a day, what a weekend for Jorge Prado. Victorious again on home soil here in Madrid. And he continues to lead as we go to round 3.
This is all about, racing. It's about winning too, and it was just a perfect weekend, winning just every single time I went on track, and can be more happy doing it in home soil. It's all super special. So many fans came over, so hey, give it also to them a victory. It's makes me feel proud, and super weekend. Thanks to the whole Red Bull Gas Factory Racing team, everybody who supported me, and we are doing a great job. Let's keep it rolling.